Thank you so much for taking the time in your vacation to record this video with us. Recently, we were really blessed that Cornelsen Publishing House became one of the official supporters of the bitmark Association, and we couldn't be happier about that. And maybe let's start with a quick introduction of yourself and what you're doing at Cornelsen.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for having me here. As you said, I work for the Cornelsen Verlag, which is one of the leading providers of educational media in the German-speaking world. We develop products for the classroom and for personal learning as well, printed, digital, and cross-media. Cornelsen stands for learning success and high quality for more than 75 years. My position is head of EdTech Engineering. EdTech Engineering is a software engineering department. So my responsibility is to ensure delivery and operations of our digital products for our customers. In EdTech Engineering, we have software engineers, DevOps engineers, and solution architects, but we also work with external partners. When developing our digital products, we work in an agile way in cross-functional teams. So that means I work very closely with our product management department and other departments like UX and learning design.
So you openly spoke about the importance of open standards for education and digital learning, and therefore you also supported the bitmark Association because we're promoting an open standard and therefore the interoperability in the digital learning sphere. Why do you think open standards are important for digital learning?
Yes, I think it's very important because the problem is that we are facing an EdTech market with a lot of players. It's not like a traditional market with just providers and consumers. You may know that education in Germany is not centrally organized. It's the responsibility of our regional ministries of education and culture in our 16 Bundesländer. And these Bundesländer provide their own platforms. And then there are platforms provided by municipalities, and there are commercial providers of school management systems, of learning management systems, and providers of learning content, of course, of which Cornelsen is one. So the expectation of our customers is to have all systems provided by these different players working seamlessly with each other. That means as a teacher, I want to use one account, the one that I have at school, to manage my schedule, to prepare and deliver lessons, to distribute, collect assignments, and so on. And the entire interaction of these systems only works if all players agree on common open standards. And in the end, everyone benefits.
So how did you came across the bitmark Association, and why did not only you, but also Cornelsen decided to support it?
Yes, I learned about bitmark from my very appreciated colleague, Jairan. She once came to me and asked me, hey, Uwe, isn't that approach of bitmark to develop an open source standard for content creation not exactly in line with Cornelsen's goal to support open EdTech standards? And yes, of course it is. Bitmark is such a fresh initiative with a potential to develop a widely used standard. And that is important that it's widely used. And that's why we at Cornelsen decided to support it.
Yeah, and we couldn't be happier about that. Thank you so much. And as you said already, yeah, it's super important that it is widely supported and widely spread, because as you for sure know, an open standard only works if everyone or a lot of participants use it. So what would your advice would be to distribute an open standard and make the ball rolling?
Yes, there are a lot of possibilities. First of all, each and every company can decide to use open standards, can decide to use open source software and to contribute to open source software and contribute to open EdTech standards. There are some organizations that foster these open standards Cornelsen is also a contributing member of the One EdTech organization, which fosters these standards. And also, when I look at bitmark, that's also it's an initiative that's where a lot or some companies contribute to. So there are possibilities, and as I said, every fund benefits. And when you give, you receive also many possibilities.
Yeah. I've been at the EdTech Next Summit, and I have met your colleagues there, and we talked about the importance of open standards in EdTech, and how open standards can also boost your startups from the very beginning. Where do you see the biggest advantages for companies using open standards?
The biggest advantage is, I think, that they do not have to develop own, let's say, APIs, for instance. They can use existing ones, and when they use them, the other people put a lot of effort into developing that. So you have immediately that advantage to use technology that is developed by others, and there are a lot of issues like security issues that are solved already. You can use it to, and you have the possibility to connect to other systems that use these standards as well. So you don't have to do a lot of work than you would do that in the, when you do it for your own.
Yes, I think so too. And do any disadvantages come to your mind?
I wouldn't say there are no disadvantages. I can't really see any. Makes that sense? I don't know. I have never thought about that, but actually, I see only advantages because you benefit, and I wouldn't see that there is really an alternative.
Yeah, that's amazing to hear. I mean, we see in conversations that it takes a little bit more effort, especially for a startup, to integrate an open standard instead of creating their own proprietary data format. But in the long term,
yes,
for sure.
Exactly. In the long term, you have a lot of benefits, and you need a little effort at the beginning, but I don't think that it's really much, because when you develop it on your own, you have the same effort. You must think about issues that are already solved, and you must solve it in your ways. Though that takes also, that requires also a lot of effort. So yes, maybe there is a little effort to learn about these standards, to contribute to them, but at the end, in the long term, you have a lot of advantages and benefit from that.
Super interesting to also hear that from your point of view, because we experience it in the EdTech world a lot. And where are we now? And where could we be when interoperability is the status quo in the digital learning landscape?
Yes, where could we be? That's an interesting question. We see that digital transformation is happening in education. Digitally supported learning is becoming more and more important. So I see that we have one big challenge, and the challenge is that digital learning must not simply replace traditional learning, because then it wouldn't work in the long term. I think technology must be an enabler for truly new approaches and must add value to existing learning approaches. Only then it will work. But I see many opportunities where technology can be exactly that enabler. When you look at things like learning analytics, or when you see new approaches like flipped classroom, for example.
A great example. Thank you so much. And what is like preventing the German or German-speaking EdTech area from being or having this interoperability? Yeah, where doesn't it work?
I wouldn't say that it doesn't work. Actually, it's starting to work because a lot of these players that I mentioned are open for using open standards, and because they all see that there is no alternative. All these systems can only work if open standards are used. And so I see that even in our Bundesländer, there are some initiatives that foster the use of open standards. And I see a lot of companies that start to use open standard. And a lot of these new EdTech companies, they start to use open standards as well. And one is, of course, the bitmark initiatives, which is a very good example for that.
And yeah, my last question would be, where do you see the digital learning space, sphere, world in 5 to maybe 10 years? I don't know if so much changes in 5 years, but let's say maybe 10 years.
Oh yeah, 10 years is it's very long in the future. So yeah, I would like to see, let's say it in this way, I would like to see a fully integrated ecosystems where a lot of EdTech players, and it's very easy to get access to these to this EdTech ecosystem. So yeah, we can use other products or other systems via connecting through EdTech standards, and it's easy to access that ecosystem. So I would say a fully integrated and connected ecosystem is the perspective.
Yeah, is there another question that I forgot to ask that is really important to mention? Does anything come to your mind?
Yes, I could. No, there's not really a question that you forgot, but I would emphasize that standards cover different aspects. Yes, we have standards that are available to connect systems, to make a securely connection and handshake of systems. And we have a quite different area that is content standards, and that is what bitmark is focusing on. And that's also important, not only to connect systems to each other, but to understand what is the data that is that is available in other systems. How can I read it? How can I deal with it? So that is important also to have content standards and digital content standards. And that's also very important to have these ones. So I think it's very good initiative of bitmark and a very good idea to put effort in that, in that area.
We're working on it, both in different ways, Cornelsen and bitmark. And so
yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.